Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. A 3-hour banger lined up for you today. Nick Whalen, NBA player props coming up in 30 minutes. A very busy schedule tonight in that sport. Jeff Borzello, an hour from right now, we'll talk college basketball there. And Wes Reynolds a little bit later on. Tonight's college basketball card, conference tournaments, outrights that he likes, and the Arnold Palmer Invitational is this week.
Yeah.
And Wes is our golf guru here at VSiN. Who does he like in the outright markets and placements? We'll talk to him about that. Tons on college basketball. We do have breaking news in the National Football League moments ago. The Arizona Cardinals informed quarterback Kyler Murray that they intend to release him on the first day of the league year next Wednesday, barring a trade between now and then. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million. That's guaranteed in 2026, Pauly, and another $19.5 would have triggered on March 15th for 2027. And he can now get that money, move on somewhere else, and sign for the league minimum, which would be $1.3 million for a veteran.
All right, let's go. I think Atlanta's a great fit. Minnesota's a great fit. Let's see where he winds up. Cleveland is a bad fit. You also have the Colts tagging Danny Dimes, preserving the right to match any competing offer sheet he might sign with an interested club. If he does not sign a competing offer sheet, he gets 1 year guaranteed $37 million. Mama, they were 8-2 when he hurt his leg, and then the Achilles happened in week 14. So he's probably going to stay a member of the Colts, and they're also working out a deal with Pierce. As Ian Rappaport said, the number one topic at the Combine was what's going to happen with musical chairs at the quarterback position, and the fact that you could have 5 guys who were starters last year be cut and sign with the minimum. Will they all be starters? I don't know. Maybe 3 of them will be. I don't know. I doubt Geno's a starter. I don't think Fields will be a starter. And the other thing, which is going to dominate the whole offseason, I think will be the biggest topic, is what the Minnesota Vikings are going to do at quarterback. And there were, guys were making the rounds just saying they think a divorce is coming here between McCarthy and the Vikings. But I do agree that'll be the most talked about thing in the summer. But until they land their veteran quarterback, what they're going to do. So big news today.
So right now, prediction markets, Minnesota has a 32% chance. You get almost 3 times your original bet back if you want to bet on the Vikings. The Jets right now are at 35%. Kyler Murray going to the New York Jets would be a complete waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense for anybody involved.
No.
Miami, you get about 8.5 to 1 return if you want to bet on the Dolphins. Another spot that I really don't like him going to. Atlanta is, again, about 8.5 to 1 on your return right now. Atlanta would make some sense. I think he's got a very good chance, if he goes to Atlanta, of beating out Michael Penix for the week 1 starting gig.
Okay, I was going to say, if he goes to Minnesota or Atlanta, though, he wants to be the starter. I'm sure he would say, I'm not going to try out or compete against Penix or whoever you get to throw out there.
They sign. Let's say the Vikings sign him right now in the next 5 minutes. Is he the week 1 starter? Absolutely,
yes.
No questions.
I would say that if I'm him too, and based on everything coming out of Minnesota, I guess they're concerned, they're ready to move on from McCarthy.
Yeah, I would say that as of right now, I'd say it's close. Does Pittsburgh do anything to you?
It's an interesting fit. I thought that was going to happen. I didn't think Rodgers was going to come back.
Yeah.
But all signs are pointing to Rodgers comes back after winning the division, and now Big Mike taking over. But I thought that was a solid fit, and that was floated out there when Pittsburgh was struggling last year and having their issues. That was about the timing when Murray was benched, hurt, whatever you want to say.
You want to get absolutely – I don't hate the idea of Kyler Murray going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's good.
Under
the
conditions that Aaron Rodgers either moves on and goes somewhere else or he calls it quits.
Yeah.
You want to get absolutely bonkers crazy here. Las Vegas is less than 2% right now. You get about 47 times your return on a bet for the Raiders. Should they kick around the idea of bringing him in, $1.3 million is what they'd have to pay him on the veteran minimum. And then, hey guys, number 1 pick is open. Anybody want to trade up? And
I would love that.
That's the ultimate move right there.
I think that is the play. I would love that. And trade Crosby while you're at it too.
Crosby earlier this morning was 2-1 to go to the Bears Before the show started, Florio was tweeting about this. That moved to like minus 135.
Is that right?
Yeah, so who
That's
knows?
Juicy.
I mean,
you got that, and you have all the steam on Love to go third overall in the draft, which that's been crazy in the prediction markets, right?
well, he was 5-1 at BetMGM to go third.
Uh-huh.
And that's
He went from 2% to 50%.
Oh, is that right? I missed that part.
It was
okay.
a big move on it. Yeah, it's come back down in the 30s now.
Yeah, we're going to have some audio a little bit later on in the show. There's one draft pundit that thinks he could go top 3. Well, we know this. He's not going to go 1 to the Raiders. He's not going to go 2 to the Jets. I say that because today New York put the franchise tag on Breece Hall. So they're not going to do that and then take Jeremiah Love number 2 overall. That'd be nonsense. I mean, organizations make dumb moves all the time. That would be unheard of, I think. So anyway, busy day today in the National Football League. Kyler Murray getting hot, getting juicy.
Charch is on Thursday. Can't wait. And I reached out to him on Friday, and the timing was perfect because he was doing his show on KFan, and they just had a 20-minute discussion on what the Vikings should do at quarterback, and he floated out Danny Dimes because they loved him, quote, loved him when he was there. But that takes him out of place probably now with the transition tag in Indy.
Yeah.
But we'll be interested to get his thoughts on the pecking order, what's realistic, what's doable, and he also has strong opinions on the Montgomery trade, not only for what it means on the field, but fantasy implications as well. You ready tonight?
Well,
Good stuff
I was
tonight.
ready last night. Good game underway in the Horizon League to get things going.
That's right.
Cleveland State, an angle play that got there with Luke, and a high-scoring game against IU Indy, and now we get a couple more, obviously, with the Sun Belt going tonight in the Patriot. Now, we're really, digging deep here. These teams are the trash of the trash, but all tickets cash the same.
That's right. You can always find something. And I went to VSiN.com this morning like I do every day, and Adam Burke got me on a play with a great write-up and a great explanation. And it's not a tournament game, but it's in the Coastal, where Monmouth is trying to lock up a top 4 seed. They're playing Northeastern, who's locked into their seed. They've lost 13 in a row. They haven't won a game since January 15th.
Beautiful.
And Monmouth's only laying 4. It was a great explanation on that game, too.
Okay.
And when I looked at the openers last night, I saw the first round of the Patriot League. I saw that Lafayette swept Holy Cross and buried them at home. And they're at home, and they're only 2.5, and that got up as high as 5. That made no sense either, so I had to take Lafayette.
They beat him 74-55 in the first game. Actually, I think the second time they played, Luke, that was that angle play, right? The last one that lost until last weekend. Holy Cross had a huge lead at halftime, catching 1.5, and they lost 86-83. So there's that. And let me give you this, by the way. In the Sun Belt, Monroe takes on Old Dominion. Monroe is 4-27 on the year, 1-17 in league play. Old Dominion was 11-20. They're laying 10.5 or 11 tonight. Old Dominion was 13.5-point favorites back in early February. Monroe beat them. Got them outright, 85-79. 3 Monroe players had 20-plus points in that game. So you have those games underway tonight. I don't have a bet in either one of those conferences. Do you?
No, money came in on UNLV. They thought Utah State was too high. 8.5 on the road. I'm surprised Boise's favorite against San Diego State. Angle play, 2 angle plays. One of them I like Bama. And I thought Tennessee was laying too much. They opened 12.5. That's come down. And I think, and it hasn't worked out this way, but I think Texas Tech could be due for a letdown, and TCU needs it, and they are currently a 10 seed in bracketology.
Yeah, I have a couple of bets on Texas A&M I'll tell you about against Kentucky tonight. And on that Alabama game, now that has flipped. That was a Luke play. He sent it out last night, so the favorite has flipped. Georgia was the favorite. Now Alabama is. Also, I'll go out on a limb here tonight. I think both teams can score 100 points in that game.
All right.
Super fast tempo. I'll explain more a little bit later on. Yeah. And crazy good offense. And 180.5 is not enough, in my opinion. That has gone up from 178.5. So there's that. And also we get Miami of Ohio in action tonight.
America's team. Get it done.
Jerry Palm, longtime bracketologist, CBS Sports. He was on with Stormy and JVT on Money Moves yesterday. He has a very strong opinion on the Red Hawks and their tournament chances.
Oh, no, they have to win the league. They have to automatically qualify. Their strength of schedule is 346 this morning. That is bottom 20 in Division I. I've been doing this 30 years or so, and the worst non-conference schedule ranking to get an at-large bid was 229, I want to say, thereabouts. So basically 115 spots higher than where Miami is right now. In fact, there probably weren't even 340 Division I teams back then. It was 1994. So, it's great that they're undefeated. And I don't want to diminish that accomplishment, but the Toledo game, the Ohio game that they have left in the regular season, those games don't mean anything. The games that matter are the games in the conference tournament, because if they don't win it, they're not going to make it.
Wow.
I think he's wrong. I think he's way off on that.
Well, he's just going based on historical data there, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just think that the damage they'll do to the sport if you're 33-1 and can't get an at-large. And Joe Lunardi has responded today on ESPN to Bruce Pearl. We have no idea whether Auburn's a better team. And Miami has won four more true road games than Auburn has played. And road teams in men's college basketball win less than 1/3 of the time. Finally, in the modern history of the tournament, great mid-majors have won almost twice as many games as the middling high majors, despite fewer bids and weaker seeding. Bruce, leave the bracketology to the professionals.
Good. But you know what happened last year?
I forgot about that.
The committee put both Texas and Oklahoma in because they had to have 29 teams in from the SEC. Both teams were 6-12 in league play.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? Texas got beat in the first 4. Oklahoma got beat in the first round.
Yep.
Get them out.
That's right. That is strong. And I forgot about that. They've won twice as many games as the big boys, and they get bad seeds and fewer bids, but they get it done.
NBA next, as Dexter Morgan would say, tonight's the night. A plethora of tanking teams are double-digit dogs that are good, are trying to win, and or need to bank on wins coming up.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Big night tonight in the NBA. Huge schedule of games overall. I'll get into the tanking teams in action, catching double digits. We have at least 6 games as of right now on the board with huge favorites and a moneyline parlay, what that could possibly pay. Tonight, Pauly, we do have the Mavericks taking on the Hornets. And Cooper Flagg remains doubtful for Dallas, so we're not going to get a rematch the way it looks of him taking on his former Duke teammate in Con Kneppel. The 1 and 2 shots right now to win NBA Rookie of the Year. Tomorrow night, the Hornets play at Boston.
Yep.
So that Jaylen Brown sat out last night for the Celtics. He'll be back for that game tomorrow night. Can't wait to watch that one. Don't sleep on Brandon Miller. Last 5 games, 24.5 points per game in only 27 minutes. 5.2 made threes on 10-plus attempts. Kneppel's last 5 games, 24 points, 5 made threes on 9.8 attempts. And LaMelo Ball, his last 5 games, 21-plus points per game, 4.2 makes on 10.4 attempts. Injury news for Dallas. P.J. Washington upgraded to probable. Klay Thompson downgraded to doubtful. Hornets lane 13, but they're mashing teams.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row, winning by 15 points or more. Miller's also on a 6-1 overrun with made threes, and all these guys out / questionable for the Mavs. Brandon Williams has been on a nice run, and he is 16.5 with his player points prop tonight, and he's been scoring and been solid along with Middleton, again for the Mavs. But with Marshall out and all these guys out, who's going to score? But maybe a little bit concerned about the look-ahead spot. But as we've talked about, the Hornets are kicking ass and taking names. When that starting lineup's out there, it's the best 5 guys in the league outside of the Detroit starting 5, as their net rating is plus 30 and 18-2 when they're starting, and they're on a 13-2 ATS run overall as well. So they've been covering here and blowing teams out, and I think they do it again against a listless Dallas team the last 2 times out.
As somebody who has the Charlotte Hornets on future bets every which way but loose, I can't wait. I'm going to be heartbroken tomorrow night because I know it's going to happen. I can't wait to see it. And they're probably going to get run out by Boston, and that will devastate me because I love this team all the way back to July 25th, right after the Summer League. on this team to make the playoffs, even the winner division. There was a book that had 500 to 1 back then that I brought up on the air, but they're going to be involved. They could be in a money line parlay tonight, which we'll expand on. Another go around here with the Pistons and the Cavaliers. And this is a rematch of it's a big rig showdown down low between Jalen Duren and Jared Allen. Both guys have been phenomenal. Duren, last 5 games, 26 points on 63% shooting and almost 14 rebounds. Allen, since February 1st, 20.5 points per game, 10.5 rebounds. Play both guys?
Yeah. Well,
question mark?
Yeah. Allen 17.5, I think, is too low. He's been so good. And again, he's been dynamite since the trade. Now I got to go right back, and he's cleaning the glass, too, in addition to all these points. So if you want to play points and rebounds, that's been cashing. Hard from a side standpoint, as they took it to the Pistons, and they blew that lead up 9 with 2:40 left on Friday. And then a ridiculous call on the three-pointer. So Allen props, no opinion on the side, but unfortunate Mitchell's out, but still a good game tonight.
Yeah, I like Duren as well. How about
That's
this?
Fine. Yep.
The Knicks are on the road against the Raptors. Short number here for the Knicks to be laying. A couple of really good performances in a row for this team. They've won 4 out of 5 games, including against Houston, and they hammered San Antonio the other night. Scores this year against the Raptors: 116-94, 117-101, and 119-92. Those are all 3 blowout wins for the New York Knicks. And there's also this in the series. New York is 11-0 straight up, 9-1-1 ATS since the start of the 23-24 season against Toronto. You want to go to war here with the Knicks? I do.
Yeah, they've been great, especially if they can play like they did Sunday defensively. You know, that was the best performance all year defensively as they frustrated and humbled Wemby and the Spurs. So they're hot. I think they keep it going. They've owned them. The other thing, too, Pistons, I don't know if you mentioned it, 15-3 under run when they're in that sweet spot. Did you mention it? Sweet spot when they're laying?
Not.
Okay, when they're laying between 1 and 5.5. That's another angle and a good write-up at VSiN.com. So you're all over it there with the Knicks game. And again, they've owned them, and the Knicks are hot. I'm with the Knicks here. And what do we do with the Thunder? SGA out again against the horrible Bulls. How do they come back and rally against the Bucks? It's hard, too, with the look at what's gone tap, right? Because they go to the Garden tomorrow to take on the Knicks.
And that's why SGA is not playing in this game tonight.
Yeah, and I'll give you this. Chet Holmgren is 19.5. His points prop, he's scored 20 points in a game once since January 24th.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. So keep riding Chet unders in this one. And that's a high total. But again, the Bulls are playing out the string with the fire sale, and somehow they had the ridiculous run against the Bucks and came back and win.
So which guy has the big game for Oklahoma City with no SGA? It's going to be one of the guards. Previously, when SGA, before the comeback here, it was Case and Wallace, who had 3 straight games of 20-plus points. It can also be a little Isaiah Joe. Like if Isaiah Joe, you told me right now he's going to get like 8, 9, 10 threes, which that guy can take when SGA doesn't play, and then I would like to bet his 3-point prop in the game. But it's a little tricky with how, like, what if they get out to a 30-point lead and then they go deep to the bench and it's a third quarter? So this time of year is a little bit tricky with how many minutes these guys are going to get. I do have a player prop involving the Pelicans. They're taking on the Lakers tonight, and I am riding the coattails here of Zach Cohen. His write-up at VSiN.com was great, and I've been tracking this Pelicans team now a little bit here going back. Zion's actually played a ton of games in a row, but he's questionable for the game tonight. The guy that Zach wrote about and I want to be on and tail is Sadiq Bey, over 16.5 points, laid 5 cents with that.
Okay.
Last 17 games, he's averaged 22.2 points per game. He had 22 against the Lakers in late November. And keep an eye on this as well. If Zion goes tonight, the Pelicans have been the best first quarter team in the NBA over the last 2 months when he plays. So if you get that alert tonight that he's going to play, I think I got to keep riding that. It's been a great streak.
Wow, the game Sunday night was crazy. Fast-paced and high scoring, and the Clippers got whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And this is a 7-point move on the total. This opened 235, and it's up to 242, 243 in that range. It's 242.5 a DK. When the Lakers were I'm like, could the Lakers be double digits here with how they struggle defensively? Now it's come down to 8.5. Props, Reeves, 6-1 under-run points. 6-1 under-run rebounds. Kennard and Reeves, 6-1 under-run threes. Made threes as well. And then are we concerned?
Remember, they're not tanking, by the way. The Pelicans are not
they
tanking.
Don't have their pick, yeah. Are we concerned about the Luka Reddick
That was
argument?
quite the video.
That was Sunday when they beat the Kings at home. And a lot of people saying not a good look. And you forget about that, hey, LeBron wanted Reddick. That was his buddy. But if LeBron leaves, would the Lakers have a new coach? Because that was almost hostile, where Luka stands up and goes right back at him after he said something. So that was the video making the rounds on Sunday. But, I just don't think the Lakers should be laying this much with how they struggle defensively.
Yeah, no, I kind of like the Pelicans. Certainly if Zion plays early, like I said, in the first quarter or something like that, they've been so good. And by the way, I totally agree with the move now on the total. Lakers are bad defensively, and the Pelicans playing these crazy breakneck games. So here's the deal. The big favorites tonight, Charlotte, Orlando, Miami, Minnesota against Memphis, OKC, and Phoenix. Booker's back for the Suns. That is a 6-team money line parlay in the NBA. It pays plus 150.
Yep.
Are you confident enough?
I already played it.
You did?
Yeah, I played it last night. And I know Kelly Bedlin also went with Hornets, Heat, T-Wolves, Suns, which I think is $1.25. Mm-hmm. Bedlin's also high on the Spurs tonight to pound the Sixers without Embiid. They're 8.5 on the road.
And you know what? I agree with him and Zach Cohen as well. They did this on Hardwood Handicappers podcast here on the VSiN network of podcasts. You can find wherever you get your podcasts. And Cohen wrote about it today at the website. They're both in on Joe Mazzulla, Coach of the Year, plus 450. He can do this. He can pull it off. I think that's a pretty good bet.
Is it going to comes down to the 1 seed?
I don't know. I don't think it has to.
If Detroit gets the 1 seed, I know. But most people thought, again, that Boston would be like in the play-in. And how do they keep doing this? No Brown, 5th game in 7 days, and they blast the Bucks? Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bucks had, they have 69 points in the fourth quarter?
Uh-huh. That was never a game.
No, it's ridiculous.
And the Boston Celtics, along with this year's Oklahoma City Thunder, just like last year, both teams are when you look at net rating overall and margin of victory, they are 2 of the best road teams in the history of the NBA. I think they're both in the top 6 right now, all time on the road. And we saw it again last night with the Celtics and the fact that Brown's missing games, Tatum has been out the entire year, they might get the 1 seed, that they were a pretty big number to win the East if you go back in the summertime and after the Tatum injury.
So if Detroit goes from the 6 to the 1 and could have the best record overall, is it Bickerstaff or is it the guy who, without a star player, can win the division and get the 2 seed?
Well,
I don't know, but maybe the plus 450, 4-1 was worth it, and just thinking it's closer than what that should be.
Well, and do NBA voters think like NFL voters? We were pounding the table for Kyle Shanahan to be in the mix the entire year, and when the final result was playing for the 1 seed, down more star players than anybody in the NFL, and he never had a chance to win the award. At the end of the day, the votes were not even close. So maybe it's fool's gold that we're talking about. Up next, Nick Whalen, tonight's NBA card. He's been dialed in with player props in the association. We'll find out what he likes coming up tonight next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Very active NBA card tonight. Nick Whalen joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line. He is with Rotowire. Nick, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always. Let's begin. Fun game here. Detroit taking on Cleveland. They just played, went to overtime. Cleveland without a lot of their star players, and I thought that was a great sign for that team. Also, Jalen Duren has been the man lately, as has Jared Allen. How do you want to attack this game from a player prop standpoint?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, of course, that we don't get Donovan Mitchell out there again tonight for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 2.5-point dogs at home. But I think that line is still reflective of how competitive this Cavs team could be. One thing, when you look at some of the numbers, especially over the last 2 weeks with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're playing well defensively, guys, but they are giving up a ton of threes. Now, they're defending those threes fairly well. Opponents are shooting about 35% from beyond the arc, which is a decent number, but they're giving up over 43-point attempts per game. So this is a spot where I'm looking to play Duncan Robinson over 2.5 threes, getting that at minus 120, a pretty reasonable price for a guy who every single night takes a ton of threes. A little bit of a buy low spot for him as well. He was 0 for 4 against the Magic on Sunday. He went just 2 of 8 against the Cavs on Friday, but on balance, averaging 3.4 makes per game over the last month. He's gone over this in 8 of his last 12 games.
All right. The Knicks have been great in the last couple of games. That was a close game against Cleveland. Then they had the awful third quarter. But Mike Brown said probably the best game they played defensively Sunday at home against the Spurs. They have owned Toronto. And it's a 9-1-1 ATS run as well. What do you think of the Knicks in Toronto laying a short number?
Yeah, this one scares me a little bit. It's hard not to love the Knicks at 2.5. And look, I agree with Mike Brown. I think that was pretty easily their best defensive performance, probably just their best raw win of the season. The kind of game that it feels like the Knicks of last year were losing this time of year. To do that to the Spurs, to hold them under 90 points, a team that had won 11 in a row and kind of beat up Victor Wembanyama the way that they did. I thought on paper, that would be a spot where Wembanyama would be able to get the best of Karl Anthony Towns. But, seeing Towns play at that level defensively, I think certainly changes things for the Knicks. So looking at this game, I mean, the Knicks have been bad on the road for most of the season. Toronto's been bad at home, so maybe those cancel out. They have blown out the Raptors 3 times this season, as you mentioned. Won by 22, 16, and 27. None of those games have been remotely close. The offensive numbers for the Knicks of late, not super friendly. They've been close to a league average offense for as nice as the win-loss record looks, but they have transformed into one of the best and most consistent defenses in the NBA. Last 10 games, they're number 3 in the league in defensive rating. They're number 1 if you go back to mid-January. And if you take the start of the season through Christmas, this was, I think they were 16th or 17th in the NBA in defense. So something has flipped as far as their kind of mindset defensively. I do worry about this being a potential look-ahead spot. They do have OKC on the schedule tomorrow night. OKC, of course, holding out SGA tonight with the idea that he's going to be out there. So that is something to consider, but still hard for me to stay away from the Knicks at 2.5.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So then in that OKC game tonight, still big favorites, no SGA against the Bulls. I don't know how the Bulls did that against the Bucks on Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. So we kicked around players that you want to attack tonight with no Shea in this game. Are you looking at Cason Wallace again, Isaiah Joe, maybe somebody else?
I think it's got to be Cason Wallace, guys. No SGA, and in addition to that, still no Jalen Williams, still no AJ Mitchell, and no Isaiah Hartenstein as well. So that takes away, even as a big man, some more playmaking in the half court from that OKC offense. I think it's easy. It's kind of low-hanging fruit right now to just target Cason Wallace because he had a few great games with SGA out of the lineup last week. But I do like the number and the price on his assist prop, 5.5 at plus 110 right now over at DraftKings. He does see a modest uptick in assists per 36. If you take SGA and Isaiah Hartenstein off the court, he's averaging 6.5 assists per game over his last 6. And, this is partially about the matchup as well. Chicago, obviously a terrible defense. They've been allowing the most assists in the NBA over the last month. You do wonder if they could be a little bit more competitive here. Josh Giddey started to play bigger minutes, so maybe you don't worry quite as much about the blowout, especially with those absences on the OKC side. So I think we see enough minutes, enough usage out of Cason Wallace to go over 5.5 assists.
Ton of guys out for the Kings. The total went from 227 down to 222.5. Any thoughts here that stick out in the Suns-Kings late game?
Yeah, I kind of like targeting these Kings games for some reason. Their rotation has actually become somewhat predictable as far as these tanking teams go. They're still throwing Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan out there, but those guys are typically capped at 22 to 25 minutes. They're basically playing a lot of guys who, in my opinion, are borderline G Leaguers, and that's why they've been so terrible offensively. Really, both these teams have been bad on offense of late, but the Suns do look like they're getting Devin Booker back tonight. Kings are 29th on defense. They have a minus 14.6 net rating in their last 10 games, so I do lean toward the Phoenix Suns here with Booker back, but the Kings team total under 106.5 is something I like as well. They're about a league average pace team, but the Suns way down at the bottom. I mean, they're right there with Boston in terms of these slowest teams in the NBA over the last 10 games. I don't think that really changes with Devin Booker back tonight. Kings have gone under this team total number in 5 of their last 8. They failed to break 100 in 4 of those games. Did put up 122 on the Spurs last week, but other than that, all of their quote-unquote high-scoring games have come against other tanking teams and other bottom 10 defenses. So I look at this as a spot where the Kings really, really struggle offensively against a Suns team. I don't really know how they're doing it, guys, but continuing to play defense at a high level. One prop that I like here is Precious Achiuwa over 7.5 rebounds on the Kings side of things. Don't even mind taking this up to 8.5 if you want plus money. Over in 4 straight. Rebounds prop was down at like 5.5, 6.5 a week ago. So the market is starting to catch up, but you got a Suns team that is starting to sour on Mark Williams. We're seeing Oso Ighodaro, second-year guy out of Marquette, actually play more minutes for them at center. They're a bottom 5 rebounding team. They're 29th in rebounds allowed per game. So it should be another spot for Precious Achiuwa, who has kind of been immune to the tank for the Kings.
Good job hosting the MLB draft. I know you really like you really like the Brewers pick. I had no idea. The Brewers have gone over their win total 8 of the last 9 years.
That's right, man. I mean, I'm here in Milwaukee, right? So I'm a little bit biased when I say that's my favorite pick of the draft, but it's what they do every single year, man. We go through this song and dance where, whether it's Willy Adames or, most recently Freddie Peralta, they say goodbye to one of their 5 best players and they're somehow better the year after. So I think this fan base is starting to grow organizational trust, at least with management. It's frustrating to lose your best players, to feel like you're not spending every single year, but the farm system that they've been able to build, feeling like they get the most out of every single player on that roster every year, I'm ready to buy back in.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think they can challenge the Cubs for that division yet again this year. Nick Whalen, our guest, Rotowire. Follow him on X at Whalen, but use the number 1 instead of the letter L. I'm looking right now. The Jets just went to 48% on Kyler Murray. They were down to 32% when the news broke right before the show started. Do you have an opinion, Nick, on a good spot or maybe a team to bet on for Kyler Murray's landing spot here in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, right away when I saw that news that, they're going to release him unless they could find a trade, which I don't really know why you're putting that out there. I guess there's maybe a team that wants to get ahead of the market, or you're trying to create, some sort of pressure to get a deal done. But I think if he becomes a free agent, I mean, that opens things up for a lot of these teams that maybe wouldn't be able to swing a trade. I think Minnesota is the first team that came to mind. And I've kind of had Minnesota earmarked maybe as the Derek Carr team. Sounds like he wants back in. He wants to play for a competitive team. I don't think he's coming back to be the quarterback of the New York Jets, but to work with Kevin O'Connell and a team that, it felt like had a disastrous season, but was still kind of right there in the NFC North, maybe the deepest division in football. I mean, Minnesota's built this thing to be a quarterback away, right? That was the whole plan, is we're going to build the rest of the roster. We're going to drop the quarterback in and we're going to hit the gas. And obviously they made a terrible decision parting ways with Sam Darnold and drafting JJ McCarthy. There's no way they're going into next season with JJ McCarthy as the clear starter. I'm sure they'll say he'll compete for the job. If they bring somebody like Carr out of retirement, you can at least sell that to the franchise. But I don't think they want to start him whatsoever. And I think if you look at it from what is the other option perspective, if it's JJ McCarthy or it's Kyler Murray or it's Derek Carr, to me, that is a huge, huge upgrade for the Minnesota Vikings. Even if you're not that high on Carr or Kyler Murray, it's a much better option than what you're currently dealing with.
You want a little, Pauly and I talked about this last week. You want a little 60-1 on the Vikings right now to win the Super Bowl in case they do land him?
To win the Super Bowl, I don't know if I go that far, but
Come on,
Jeff and I already talked about the over 8.5 wins on our show last week. I like that one quite a bit. I think I would stop short of the Super Bowl, though, with Minnesota.
Okay, very good. Nick, thanks for the time as always. Best of luck tonight and this week. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Good job. Thank
Nick
you.
Whalen, Progressive Guest Line, does a great job with Rotowire and Prop Points every single day, Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time right here on VSiN.
Hendrickson wasn't tagged. He said goodbye on Instagram to the Bengals.
That'll be a good get for somebody.
There's another one.
That's one team I am not going to buy the hype on again next year. You're going to hear plenty of people make the case. Get down now. Joe Burrow. Offense is going to be too good. They're coming out of the... Go ahead. Maybe they do. I'm not going to be a part of it. Can't get there. You also like the Brewers pick? You said, yeah?
That's strong, yeah.
I mean, it's just... They're going to be good again. And I did not like them losing Freddie Peralta. However, the pitching staff is going to be pretty damn good if they stay healthy again.
They're 2 stars, 2 aces from the Mets.
Right.
With the 6th pick, Matt Brown was ecstatic that he got Ohtani MVP. With the 8th pick, Jeff Erickson took the Dodgers to win the World Series at plus 220.
Okay.
Incredible.
They're probably both likely winners.
Yeah.
The way it seems. Win-lose coming up next. Pauly has the details on some horrific beats in basketball last night. Next here on Follow the Money.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Win Some, Arizona. They play Colorado Saturday to go 29-2 in that league, and who they played in the non-conference. Remember, before vacation, we referenced that they were going to play 6 teams in the top 15 out of a 7-game stretch. They did lose 2. One was a heartbreaker in overtime, and then the close loss at Kansas. Between what Duke is doing, blowing everybody out, the resume Michigan has, what Florida's doing, and Arizona also beat Florida, UCLA, UConn, and Alabama in the non-con. What a resume. What
Pretty
a
good.
season.
Not bad.
Great job.
And see, we were talking about this on the show yesterday. A lot of times these big numbers with good dogs are like, I got it too good to pass up. Not for me. I wanted nothing to do with NC State. I didn't bet Duke. I also did not bet Arizona, but these teams are, man, they're so much better than the competition.
Yep. There's a big gap.
Yes,
no
there
doubt.
is.
Clippers, Warriors under. 221 down to 216.5. Nice comeback by the Clippers as well, and they put it on them in the second half.
Oh, they were getting buried in the first half.
And I missed this, but condolences to Mitch and others. Echeverria was 35-1 in play on the 16th hole on Sunday. Oh, Lowry.
I would not have taken him.
Yeah,
I would not have taken that number.
Back-to-back in the water. Tee shots.
However, I will tell you that Shane Lowry is absolutely on the never bet again list.
Okay. Randy McKay might have a new spot for you, a place to move. How about New Hampshire? It's our buddy Pete. We would watch all the time on Nesson. He's the chef at the Amherst Country Club. So he goes to the local casino, and he's hit some of these big progressives. Now look at this. $1 Royale with cheese pays $4,000. His Royal paid $30. If you look down on the bottom, you see it says extra pay, $26,000. I go, Pete, what's that all about? He goes, it's tied in with the parimutuel racing, and it's tied in with charity with something to do with the casino. Look at that. You see it?
I got it locked in.
Yeah, he's hit several of these, and you see on the bottom left it says extra pay, $26,000. So $1 Royal Progressive was over 30,000, and normally it pays $4. And then yesterday he hit 4 aces and a kicker on 50 cents, which normally is $2,000. It paid over 11,000.
Okay, now this is worth a trip back east.
Look at that. And then on the bottom it says extra pay. Again, almost like $9,000.
Oh, okay. That's Frank B. Hello. Hope everything's all right in Puerto Vallarta.
Randy McKay.
Get
on your horse.
Wow, we got to talk to him about this game on the air sometime. That seems too good to be true. I mean, you just got to play it till you run it. You got to take enough money until it pops.
He sent several of these. I mean, the highest I've ever heard is like 22,000, 23,000 out here.
On a progressive?
On a dollar, but these...
Wow.
11,000 on 50 cents?
Oh.
That's wild in New Hampshire. Live free and live right. Beautiful. How about this? With all the snow, the Boston Terrier. Got this in the back. He all the snow, he dig a little ramp for him and a little speedway so he can go out. And it's a beautiful backyard.
Oh, he made a big trail for him.
It's enormous,
Okay.
He's got a whole track for him when he shoveled out there, so that at least the dog can play and run around as they got buried. Everyone on the East Coast got buried with the snow, but he's got a lot of runway so the dog can get laps in and get some exercise in the backyard.
Job well done.
That's beautiful. Good job. Excellent. Send that to me, Luke. How about lose some? How about the Bucks? 7.5 down to 2.5. Routed at home by the Celtics. IU Indy. How could they be favored, we said on air? +2 to -2. They got beat, and their season is over. And we have a winner for the craziest scenario in a conference tournament. What could happen? It's in the Northeast Conference. As Pat Forty said, a losing semifinalist in a do-over game for a bid. Mercyhurst, our friends, is the 3 seed. Lemoyne, the 4 seed. They're both ineligible and can't go to the tournament.
That stupid new rule.
Yeah, right.
That's been around for a while.
There's only 5 ineligible teams, so finally it's like either getting rid of it or just saying, okay, not a lot of teams qualify. If they would happen to match up in the title game, they would play a semifinalist between the other 2 teams, and that would determine who gets the automatic bid. What would ESPN show for would they even put this on? If Lemoyne they would show the other game, right? Because that's for the automatic bid.
Well, they would
I
have
don't know
to.
what they would do.
Yeah.
But it's a semifinal do-over. If Lemoyne, the 4 seed, plays the 3 seed Mercyhurst in the Northeast Conference title
how
game.
dumb of a rule is it?
Yeah, it's the
Still,
worst
to this day.
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. Absolutely. Here's what... I got one win, some I forgot. I tried the Big Arch today. It's the Big Mac on steroids.
Yeah, of course. That's what it looks
Something new.
like.
Yeah. I couldn't finish it. It's that big. It's a monster.
So is it the Big Mac with no bun in the middle?
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot bigger in terms of patties and stuff they have on it, though, too. I couldn't put it down. It was a nice job by McDonald's with the big arch. Here's what Mitch was talking about, bad beats. Giannis' point prop was 19.5. He had 19 points with 9:58 left in the third quarter. Didn't score the rest of the game.
That is
sick.
Outrageous.
Vile and nasty. And condolences to our buddy Max. If you had this, he talked about it on air. It was a beautiful breakdown. Incarnate Word getting 8 or 7.5. They led Stephen F. Austin, with 3 minutes left. They lost by 8.
That was an excruciating beat with 7.5.
And they made every free throw. They kept getting stops and getting fouled, and somehow down 1, catching 7.5, up 1 with 3 minutes, catching 7.5, and it doesn't go to overtime. You can't win. You lose. College hoop grind where real bettors find their edge. Tons of games a night, constant line movement, opportunities for those who know where to look. Advanced AI, trusted sources, fading Mr. Poison, sharp plays, highlight sharp action, key numbers, market shifts before the public catches up, free reports, alerts, public logs, transparent results since 2011. With Follow the Money since day one, we love Jeff and the sharp plays. Give him a follow, trusted by pros, monitored by the books. Get on board and own the boards in March, sharpplays.com.
A lot of reaction yesterday. First haircut for me in 4 months. You were stunned by it. You called me out right away in the first segment.
So disappointed.
Well, I didn't want to cut it this short. So I went and I'm like, can you clean up the sides, the back, whatever. And all of a sudden she just goes, and I'm like, okay, bye. 4 months down the drain. But a lot of people. So Mike, I said on the air that there was a move involved, and the lady that I had cut my hair for the last 5 years, it's now an hour drive. You would not believe how many people said a good barber is you don't even think about it. It's absolutely worth someone who you trust, worth the drive for an hour.
I had a lady who did an unbelievable job, but she talks too much nonstop. I couldn't do it anymore.
I see that. There you go. I couldn't do it either.
Because it's supposed to be in and out bank job, like 10, 15 minutes. This was taking half an hour long. She wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I asked for haircut horror stories yesterday, and they came in, and I know this is, I agree. I understand where people are coming from, because it's hard to find a good stylist. And, you look around, you'll be like Jerry Seinfeld.
The guys in the back were making fun of me, and I get it. I mean, it's the Jerry. When Kramer and Jerry Seinfeld, they had the horrible haircut.
He's supposed to do the auction, I think. He was supposed to be part of the auction. He showed up like that.
Yep.
Enzo got him.
Enzo, for sure. This is from Jason. Same woman cutting my hair for almost 10 years. She moved once in that time, and I drive 30 minutes out of the way. An hour is totally worth it.
Okay.
This is from Brad, who hosts on Saturdays right here on VSiN with Will Hill. Summer of 84. You think he's forgotten this? My mom, a school teacher, thought a student looked cute with a perm. She made me get a perm first day of summer vacation. Became a Cubs fan that summer, staying inside watching WGN to hide from people making fun of me. I could see that, Brad. I would have felt the same way had my mom made me get a perm.
Yeah.
And there's also from Extraordinary Opinions, something I said about Shane Lowry. He's officially on the Paul Kersey list. He's never going to bet him ever again. The thing is, I don't want to bet that guy anyway.
Yeah.
He was so popular and it made sense. And I'm like, okay, I had some 16-1. Up 3 strokes? Never again. And then the poor guy, his daughter was there, 4 years old. Did you see this in the presser afterwards? He's almost in tears if he wasn't in tears. And he said, I really wanted to get it for my 4-year-old daughter. She's never seen me win before.
Yeah.
And then he absolutely, what is that, Paul? Is that not choking?
That was a choke job.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
For a professional golfer to go back-to-back in the drink?
He's never done that in his life.
Yeah. The thing I had a problem with, though, yesterday, and this occurred to you, and sometimes it's okay to spell it out. You can't have miscommunication on a haircut.
Yeah. No,
because of the mistake, and it becomes a disaster. Like if you ask for something to be done, and like the lady who just went rogue and started shaving the guy's beard off, and he didn't even say anything. But, I mean, if you ask for something a certain way, and then, I don't know, maybe they should keep a file. They should have notes on you.
Well,
this guy wants, or you just, you got to remember that if you're a regular, like if you're a bartender. Oh, Mitch is coming in. Mitch is going to give some play in the video poker machine. I know Mitch likes the Mick Ultra. Here you go. I mean, you got to remember that
Norm
stuff.
from Cheers. Yeah, but it's my first time going here. I'll probably not go back.
Yeah.
Not going to happen again. Anyway, you live and learn. Jeff Borzello on the program coming up next. College Basketball Insider with ESPN. We'll ask him about the team with the best A game in the country, and can UConn go through 2 of them to win the title?